Hello and welcome to the sideboard here at the StarCityGames.com Season 4 Invitational in Las Vegas. I am Nick Miller alongside Stephen Pierce. How are you doing, sir?
Doing pretty well, thank you.
Pretty good. Now, we caught wind of your deck because you were 3-0 playing against Jerry Thompson in the standard portion here, day one. And we saw Part the Water Veil come out and said, all right, hold on, we have to take a look at what we're doing here. And what you got is this crazy Bant, just amalgamation of cards. You get to take extra turns, you get to kill all the creatures, and you get to dig through time. So you're doing it all. How'd this deck come about?
So I had originally seen Saffron Olive's posting of the deck on Reddit a couple months ago, and I was really intrigued by it because in Modern I played the Taking Turns version there, and so I was like, oh sweet, I'll take this, work on it, and see if I can make it better and prep it for an event like this, and I ended up doing well at a PPTQ, and now I'm here, so.
Right. So you've got Jace, you know, we've seen this in all the decks that can support blue at this point, but then you have this cool ramp package here of Radiclaw Mystic, you got Nissa, which even helps you find lands, you know, Hedron Archive and Explosive Vegetation, along with Nissa's Revival here. I had to take a second look because I know this card gains you 7 life, it also gets you 3 lands, and then you just get to start doing all kinds of crazy things.
Oh yes.
So you ramp, and then you have, you know, access to killing all the creatures with Planar Outburst. You got a Dragon Lord Ojutai just running around in the mix here.
Yeah.
How's
it's actually
this deck,
a Jamoka.
Or sorry,
but yeah.
Jamoka. How does this deck work, you know, early game, mid game, and what exactly is your game plan? Okay,
so typically I want to be ramping as soon as possible, so that involves playing the Radiclaw Mystic into an Explosive Vegetation or a Hedron Archive. But occasionally that doesn't happen, so you use your Jaces and Nissas to kind of smooth out the early game in order to prep for the late game power that this deck has. So once you start ramping, you'll start with the Radiclaw on 2 into an Explosive or Hedron on 3, and then you'll do a Nissa's Renewal on 4. Like that's the nut hand for this deck. And then from there, you can just start playing any of your top-end spells. It's actually not uncommon for me to just pay fully for Dig Through Time on turn 5 or 6. It just ends up that way. And using Dragonlord Jamoka to protect your Time Walk spells is really key against some decks because, for instance, Jeskai Black will try and Crackling Doom or something like that. So it's nice to hold out till you get to 12 mana or so, play the Jamoka, then play Apart the Water Veil, and the look on their face is priceless.
Not a lot they can do about that. You know, we've even seen Jamoka come all the way back to Vintage and like Bomberman when they want to protect that combo. So it makes sense. If you have something you want to protect, get the Jamoka in play, then all the crazy shenanigans are going to go through.
Yes.
All right, so you've got Part the Water Veil. We saw Ali Antrazi play this card quite a bit, take extra turns. But this one, I mean, it's no joke. Like, we've got another Delve spell.
Yes.
Of course Delve spells are too good. Temporal Trespass, another Time Walk. You can Delve, just more extra turns. Now, the unfortunate part about the Time Walks here is Jace cannot flash them back. But as you mentioned, you can use Jace to filter them early when you need a smoother draws and then flash them back later.
Exactly, yes.
Okay. Dig Through Time, you say you can just cast normally. Ugin here looks like another kind of alternate finisher.
Yes.
Is that what he's in there for?
Yeah, he's also there as just Planar Outburst 5 and 6, and then also to win the game. So he can't quite deal with some of the more like problematic things like Ulamog, but neither can Planar Outburst. So in that case, that's why the board is set up to just either beat that deck by going wider with like Mastery of the Unseen or having the Disdainful Stroke and Ojutai's Command.
Okay. So once you start taking the extra turns, you're just going to kill them with your animated lands at this point, I assume. Water Veil can make you a land, and Outburst makes you a land, and then you can just kind of buff up one land and take them down with that. Is that your plan of winning usually?
Yes, typically, and it's also nice the Lumbering Falls in the deck are pretty good against the Jund and Jeskai lists that run like Murderous Cut or anything like that, because you can awaken onto that land, and then whenever they go after it, you can give it hexproof in response.
Just make it even bigger. It's got hexproof. There's not much they can really do about it.
Exactly.
I assume Nissa's here pretty good as well. It can make you a 4/4 if you need to go that route, or just take you some extra cards.
Yes, yeah. Nissa is actually there for the card advantage, but more often than not, she just comes out, makes a token in order to help stabilize the board state, and then you start going off with the extra cards with her.
And of course, Dig Through Time, you're pretty clear on what you want to get in this deck. So you want to get your extra turns, and you want to get your outbursts, I assume, or your Ugin, and find a way to win. Because once you ramp, you don't really need all these extra ramp spells. This is just a perfect card selection tool.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at the sideboard. You said you had a couple matchups you want to shore up there. Of course, we have a Ration Cleric, everyone's favorite mono-red monster to try to deal with. But talk about the Eldrazi matchup. You said that's a problemsome matchup.
Yeah. So depending on who goes first in the red-green Eldrazi ramp deck, it's basically whoever gets their first explosive vegetation into another ramp spell. That really comes down to the deciding factor, because as soon as they cast Ulamog, they can take you off of your lands or whatever threat you've played. So I have Crumble to Dust in the board in order to take out their Sanctum of Ugins and Shrine of the Forsaken Gods, which is really great because you just get them all of a sudden, because they don't expect the red off of your Rattleclaw Mystic to actually do anything.
Right. Yeah, you got a bunch of red cards in Crumble to Dust, but you said you also have a Mountain as well, so you can find that with your ramp spells and such. Just get them when they're not ready.
Exactly.
You got another Jamoke in here, Ojutai's Command, kind of more value, but then Mastery of the Unseen, as you said, another typical sideboard plan.
Yeah, I have actually, 2 of my matches today were one off at the back of Mastery of the Unseen. It's pretty common for you to get to 12, 14 mana early, or about like turn 8 or so, I guess. And once you get to that position, you can just start pumping out guys with Mastery Unseen, and there's not very many decks that can deal with that.
Right, we've seen like the Jeskai Black decks can kind of move to that sideboard as well, and then they can only usually get one creature a turn. And this is sort of like a flashback to Green-White Devotion from seasons past, where they make 2, 3, 4 of those. You can just run someone over with that.
Yes.
All right, you got some extra counter spells: Disdainful Stroke, Dispel, Negate, all that, dealing with control.
Yes, and also they're just to like shore up different parts of certain matchups, because the Temporal Trespasses typically aren't good 2 and 3 because people know what you're doing by this point. So I like just swapping those out with one of the counter spells that's relevant.
Well, you're 3-1. The deck's awesome. We really want to see this in action tomorrow, so hopefully Modern goes well for you. Thanks for joining me here in the sideboard.
Thank you very much.
Stay tuned to StarCityGames.com all week long for the action here in Las Vegas.